Don't be a boob. For more videos like this one, please subscribe to this channel.
This morning, we are tracking a major storm that will sweep across the country over the next 72 hours. 30 states from coast to coast will see winter weather from this storm. Let's show you the timing, starting in the west, where we have been dealing with downpours. We're talking heavy snow and gusty winds. Rain and wind still blasting the Pacific Northwest this morning. We've seen gusts actually as high as 64 miles an hour measured just north of Seattle. In fact, nearly 700,000 customers are without power in Washington and Oregon. From there, the storm is going to be tracking east tonight into tomorrow, right into the upper Midwest, and that's where the winds are going to get cranking. You see the system right there, but it's the winds that could actually give us a blizzard or near blizzard conditions. Some places could get a half a foot of snow here into the Windy City, 1 to 2 inches, but with the wind blowing it around makes it quite uncomfortable and can bring that visibility down. Then we end the week with a focus on the East Coast. We're talking snow in New England and down the Appalachians and rain extending into the Southeast. In upstate New York, we've got several days of snow to come, starting late on Friday into Friday night, and then it's really going to pile up. What we're going to do is we're going to dive into the details of this system, region by region, on this hour of Amhq. I'm meteorologist Stephanie Abrams, alongside meteorologist Jim Cantori and Jen Carfagno. With all that said, Jim, we also have to talk about Florida, because there we have a little cloud, little rain, and a little bit of energy in the upper atmosphere that's going to kick even more showers off later in the day.
And as you know,
today in Minneapolis, go to the store, make your grocery list, and then go to the store, because you're going to want something warm, some kind of comfort food. Maybe it's chili, maybe it's soup. And you're going to want to go today, because this is tonight's forecast. We start overnight. We bring in a little bit of something, whether it's rain or snow mix or just rain to start. Either way, it very quickly transitions over to snow by tomorrow morning. So you're not going to want to go out tomorrow morning. I like that this happens in the morning, because hopefully it keeps you off the roads, and then you're just staying off the roads throughout the entire event, but it lasts a while. So this is now overnight Thursday into Friday. It is still snowing here around Minnetonka and over towards Somerset and up towards Wyoming, north of Minneapolis. We have snow coming down all through Thursday, Friday, and wrapping up overnight Friday into Saturday morning. So you've got a good chunk of time where you are inside watching that snow come down, or maybe you're outside playing in it, but hopefully you're not driving. We've got about 6 or 7 inches of snow coming down across this area. We are running a bit of a deficit there. We're running a big deficit in Marquette, Michigan. We're only going to get 5 or 6 out of this. That sweet spot is going to be over into Minnesota for the biggest snowfall totals. Chicago, we just can't buy snow this year, can we? We get a little bit, and we start as rain, mix over quickly to snow, but we don't have the moisture here. Everything sort of, the energy from the system tracks off to our west. So Chicago, we do have some snow chances, and we may end up having just as bad travel here, because we only get 1 inch or 2 of snowfall, and you know that's when people go out, and that's unfortunately we could be dealing with slick conditions. Green Bay, we will see a couple of inches of snow coming in Thursday into Friday. Jim.
Packers fans.
The wild, wild west keeps sending waves of storms to the rest of the country, and some think it is acting like another problematic weather system. Yeah, like something in the tropics. All right, places like Maryville, Washington have been slammed by high winds. I mean, look at this, the rain, everything blowing in the wind. The entire Pacific coast has been pounded by high surf. And you might be wondering, is this a tropical system? No, this is a big extra tropical system out there. And our weather wisdom question today comes from Allison Rogers, wants to know what makes an ocean storm different from a hurricane. All right, so let's talk about this, because there's similarities and there's differences. And we'll start with the big storm that we've got coming in right now to the northwest here. This one has been blasting, and this is what it looked like when it was approaching earlier this week. Look how tightly wound up it is. This is a low pressure. Just like a hurricane or a tropical system, the center of it is a low pressure, but they're very different actually in the way they form, the way they get their energy, the way that they are set up, the size. So this is an extratropical system, and you see these isobars. These are lines of constant pressure, give us a good feel of the wind field. Look how it fills up almost the entire Pacific over here in the Western Pacific, in the Eastern Pacific. So we are looking at a very large wingspan, if you will, with these extratropical systems. Now, a hurricane has some fierce winds and usually even stronger winds, right? But it's much more compact in size. Think about Hurricane Laura. That was Laura when it made landfall. With the strongest of the winds were right there in southwestern parts of Louisiana and really didn't extend much further than that. This is the wind field of a tropical system. This is Hurricane Iota, and you can see how the strongest of the winds are actually pretty compact, only impacting very small area of the coastline of Nicaragua with that wind. So it's a small but fierce wind field. And when you compare a tropical system and the way it forms over warm waters, that's what gives us its energy. It doesn't have any arms, if you will, no fronts that go along with it. Compare that to an extratropical system, which has the fronts and actually gets its energy from temperature differences in the atmosphere. They are very different in that way. And here is that intense 962 millibar low pressure that we had approaching the northwest. This is when it was up in Alaska, that Aleutian low. It's a strong low pressure, and hurricanes can be even stronger when it comes to low pressure, but these extratropical systems can be even bigger in size, and that can create even bigger impacts. So we saw waves from this thing emanating out and affecting the entire west coast of the U.S. Keep those questions coming on social media. Either
Can get intense in the weather here. This is nothing but joy. You've got to come to your television screen. This is a drop your bagel moment, as I like to say, but don't really drop your bagel on the floor, maybe on your plate. This was taken last week in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan in Harbor Springs. And the optics on this, I mean, you need a whole college course to really get into all of this, but we want to point out a few things that you can see here. So this is a halo, and these are caused with the ice crystals out in the atmosphere. It all depends on what you have in the atmosphere. Is it rain? Is it ice? Is it snow? And then the sun angle that it hits it at. So you'll see the halo going around, and then this is your sun pillar in the middle. You see that going straight up? That's your sun pillar. I also want to point out that that is an upper tangent arc that you can see. So again, we'll show it to you one more time because it's moving video. There's your sun pillar going straight up. You see the halo also going around like that. And then you have the upper tangent arc right there. So there's just a lot going on in this picture. And it's optics are something that are actually, Jen, very challenging to master. Optics are very tough. Rainbows.
They're similar. I mean, things are similar too. Like whether it's
depends on the angle.
Arc. Yeah, right. It depends on the angle. And look, it's optic season though, because you have to have almost always those ice crystals in the air to get that kind of really cool scene. So lucky you up there. We have ice crystals here in the south, but not in a good way. We have a little bit of sleet, a little bit of grapple, some freezing rain, some freezing drizzle, some freezing mist, all happening in the south. Now you can see it on the radar. We've got a little disturbance just north of Interstate 20. There has been reports of sleet. I just shared a picture on Twitter this morning. I think, you know, in these spots like Chunky, I didn't know that that spot was out there. You did get some sleet, 0.1 inches in Louisville, Mississippi. We got 0.1. Also at the airport, we had 0.1 there in Jackson. So we're going to be watching this little area today. There is a winter weather advisory for this. Temperatures have been below freezing, but very close to freezing, right? So that disturbance will be on the move. We'll keep an eye on that as it heads over into Alabama. For now, the problem in Alabama is that we've got freezing drizzle and freezing fog. That's this area in pink. So freezing fog advisory here, East Tennessee, the upstate of South Carolina, and some spots all the way over down beyond the Piedmont here in North Carolina, looking at some freezing fog. Temperatures below freezing. We're starting to warm up here. Some spots, Atlanta finally up to 33, Jim.
Yeah, we should mix this out.